Well, I haven't posted a video in a while, and there's good reason for that. A lot of stuff's been happening. As of the first week of February, I was told, if you didn't know already, I figured it out. I was driving for Ashley Pacific Northwest. They bought out Wilson Logistics, so I was working for them. And the first year was great, made pretty good money. After that, it just went downhill from there. You know, they closed the Portland terminal a year later, and I'm like, yep, here it goes. It's going to start closing down. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. This is our plans. So then they closed the Missoula terminal down. I'm like, yep, here we go. We're going to be told any day now. And that went on for, I don't know, 7-8 months. I'm saying, no, the Pacific Northwest fleet is going to be absorbed into the ADS fleet, Ashley Distribution Services fleet. And we're going to do the point-to-point runs, span away to Arcadia, Mesquite, Texas, and Ecru, Mississippi, Redlands to Mesquite, Texas, and Ecru, Mississippi, and Arcadia, Wisconsin, and just go take, because a lot of loads out of Spanaway and we started doing that. I picked up a lot of loads out of Spanaway, and, furniture made in Vietnam. So I was like, okay, well, they got to have somebody do that. So, and, light loads, paid pretty decent. So I thought, well, maybe. After they closed down Portland and Missoula, and I'm thinking, I don't know, though. And, they did have loads out of Spanaway that went to Missoula that I could get home. They had loads out of Arcadia, Wisconsin that went to Great Falls. That could get me home. So I was like, well, all right, well, let's see what happens. Well, got down to Ecru, Mississippi, and I did a dedicated run down there, 500 miles a day, did 5 loads a week from Ecru to Smyrna, Tennessee, threw in East Point, Georgia every now and then, all dropping hook, going to the stores, and that lasted all of January and February. I'm like, okay, this is working out. This is starting to work out. And, well, that run, they ended up giving that run to another company. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. They're going to use an outside company. All right. Well, even though technically I am an outside company, but I was strictly for Ashley. Well, so I got a load out of Louisiana up to Wisconsin first week of February. When I get up there, they decided to give me a call and said, oh, by the way, March 7th, we're completely shutting down the APNW fleet. So you have one of two choices. You can either end it now or you can ride it out. I'm like, I'm over in Wisconsin. I ain't going to bobtail all the way to Missoula, Montana on my dime. I told them, I said, well, I came up here to do this other dedicated run out of Arcadia, Wisconsin, down to Romeoville, Illinois. I was going to do that for a couple of weeks and go home. I said, I tell you what, I'll do that for a couple of weeks and that'll give you 2 weeks to get me home. And they said, okay, yeah, we can do that. So I did that Romeoville, Illinois run for 2 weeks. 5 runs a week, did that for 2 weeks. And then I got a load out of Milwaukee going to Spokane, Washington. All right, good. Okay. Get over to Spokane, Washington. I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Got to look for a new company to put my truck on. I could get my own trailer, get loads off the load board, but you know what it's like dealing with brokers. So I was like, yeah. You know what that's going to be like. I was like, I really didn't want to do that, having to deal with those people. So I thought, well, there's plenty of companies out here still that will take on a power-only guy. So I'm like, well, who am I going to do? Who am I going to go? Where am I going to? So I tried Amazon Relay. I signed up for Amazon, got on with Amazon. I'm like, cool. I download the app, looked at the load board, and I'm like, you've got to be effing me. Loads don't pay squat. Most of them are right around $1.25 a mile, and as an owner-operator, that ain't going to cut it. That is cheap freight. And on top of that, the schedules were awful. God, they were awful. I mean, no wonder you see them in the ditch all the time. They're falling asleep at the wheel, and you stop to take a piss anywhere, you're going to be late. I'm like, nah, I ain't going to do that. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I got to thinking, well, when Wilson Logistics bought out Jim Palmer, I drove for Wilson Logistics. Well, they pulled Prime trailers for 2 years before I switched over to the dry van fleet. So I thought, you know what am I going to do? I thought, well, refrigerated loads do pay more than dry van loads. So I thought, well, so guess who I end up going to work for? Yep. You see it. That's who I put my truck on with. Here at Salt Lake City right now. And I know some of you are saying, are you nuts, driver? And some of you are going to say, well, that's not a bad deal. I guess it all depends on your personal situation. And my personal situation's pretty good financially. I don't have the bills like all you drivers got. But I have seen, I've talked to drivers that lost their butts pulling prime. And I've seen drivers do pretty damn well. So let's see what happens. We'll give it a go. And we'll just go from there. Well, that's my update. I'm just now waiting for my first load out of Salt Lake City. And we'll see what happens. All right, well, that's all I got for now. I'll keep you up to date on what's going on, how it's working out. So we will just talk to you later. Catch you on the flip-flop.